Do you know as a human being that you are unstoppable? You can be unstoppable as you grow. Now, here's the thing, as humans, we think in pictures, we don't think in words. And so what we think about, what we visualize more often than not come to pass. We are drawn towards the images that we hold in our mind. Take, for instance, race drivers. They are taught to immediately look towards a recovery point if, in any case, they skid off the road and the car is going in a direction that they do not intend it to go to. Instead of looking at that direction, they look at the direction they want the car to go to. Because if they keep looking at that direction, even as they're trying to apply the brakes and do all the things that they need to do, they will just go against or go towards the wall. They are taught not to look at the wall because while they are braking, and they need to look at where they're going to and really move so that they're going to steer the wheel towards the point. And that's the way, if we apply that, that's the way we are today as humans. We move toward and become like what we really think about. Our present thoughts determine our future. We worry a lot. Pause for a moment and let's define what is worrying. I like to describe worrying as anything that we think about, or it's the process of thinking about what many cases you really cannot change it, all right? But and in most cases, there are things that will never happen. And the more you dwell on those things that will never happen, and the more you get drawn to those things emotionally, psychologically, and physically. Let me give you another example. Back in the day when we used to learn how to ride a bicycle, what would happen? And then you see an obstacle or you see a wall. The next thing you go, hey, see, wait, look. And you just go boom against the wall or against the obstacle. And that is how it is. When you focus on something that you are afraid is going to happen, guess what? You are drawn emotionally to that thing. You are drawn psychologically to that thing. And you are drawn physically to that thing eventually. So, how do I apply what I have just described or the scenarios that I have just painted and the principles? You see, when you are faced with difficult problems, when I am faced with difficult problems, when we are faced with difficult problems in life, we need to quit dwelling on the difficult problem and dwell on the solution. Now, I remember, I'm sharing with you keys to make you unstoppable as you grow. So the first key I'm sharing with you is to gain control over your thoughts. So if you are probably ill, stop thinking ill and start thinking healthy. If you're struggling financially, stop thinking about your struggles and start thinking affluent, or start thinking, comfort, and stop thinking about your bills and focus on how you can create value so that your bills are dwarfed, so that you can take care of your bills. Instead of thinking about the bills, think about solutions that will enable you to take care of your bills. If your marriage isn't going well, stop thinking about what's not working and visualize what kind of marriage would you like to have, what kind of family would you like to build, and work towards that. Because the more you think about the problem, the thinking about the problem paralyzes you and stops you from moving forward. So many times without you even knowing it. So in order for you not to stop, in order for you not to stay stuck, you need to keep moving. Take one small step after another. If it is your career and your career isn't going the way you want it to go, or the way you would have loved it to go, what you need to do is stop dwelling in that way, stop dwelling in that space, and stop dwelling in the way that you want to go. Think about what kind of career would you like to have? Are you commuting too much? Are you spending too much time out there at work and you don't have time for your family? Would you like to do a job that allows you to work from home? Would you like to do a job that would give you that space to work, to do a hybrid work, to work hybrid arrangement? What exactly are you looking for? Try to picture it. Is it easy to do the things I have just mentioned? Absolutely not. It's not easy. It requires a great deal of discipline. So remember that you move towards that thing that you think about. So if you're always thinking about problems, there's a likelihood, there's a strong likelihood that you will be attracting those problems. So if you don't want those problems, you don't want to attract them, then don't think about them. For a moment, pause and think about what I've shared with you. Whatever you think about long enough, you attract it. Okay, for instance, people that have maybe gotten themselves involved in an accident or one accident or the other, they need to stop thinking about having accidents. They need to keep their minds playing even when they're traveling. Keep in mind too that we live in a world where once people know how you are or mistakes that you've made, it's very hard to break away from that. It is very difficult to change because many times people would come and they really do care. I think so, but they don't know better. So what would they tell you? Hey, be careful. You know the way you are. You know what happened last time. So in other words, they've created a box and put you in that box. And so whenever they see you, they remember the mistake that you've made and define you with that mistake that you've made or that accident or that thing that happened. All right. So in other words, they are not allowing you to forget. They are always reminding you and bringing you back to that space. And they tell you this because they tell you they love you. And I like to think they do, but they don't know better. So they're just telling you the way they know it. So what they do, they keep reminding you of your problem in order to stop you from going towards that space. But remember, if you take the principle that I'm sharing with you right now, it means that if you're being reminded about something, if you're being reminded of something, and you keep thinking about that thing, the likelihood is you're going to attract that thing is going to pull you close to it. You're going to attract it. So this is what you need to do. Develop the discipline to say no. If part of your life isn't really the way that you want it to be, you must imagine the way that you want it to be, all right? And hold that picture strong. Even when people around you think you are insane and they are actually screaming about how unrealistic what you are trying to do is. So I don't know if this has really helped you, but pay attention to what I'm sharing with you. I've shared with you just one key. And if you think that it has helped you, you can share it with other people. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel and like the video and share the video. It will cost you nothing to share the video so that we keep helping people out there. But I want to share with you a second key. And the second key is dump thoughts of the good old days. Dump thoughts of the good old days. This is another way of looking at what I just shared with you about the first key of taking control of your thoughts, right? In terms of what has happened and what you attract. Okay, this is another piece. And this applies to people who always think about, oh, the good old days, oh, the good old days. I don't know if you've ever been around people who talk about what they used to do, how they used to be, or what they used to be, and all of that. Actually, put all of that into one box or one bag. It's called the good old days. So picture this. If we are drawn towards that which we think about, like we shared on the first key, when these people look at the past, it triggers pictures of the past. And when that happens, remember, you're attracted to what you think about. So if you're always thinking about the good old days, you are attracted to those days and you are stuck and you are unable to move forward because you do not have the energy to move forward. You're always looking at, I wish things could just go back to what they used to be. The point is, things have changed. You cannot control what life throws at you, but you can actually control your response to what life throws at you. So the energy that these people have is the energy that draws them backwards, that pulls them backwards. So that is why you want to be very careful when you're around people that are stuck with the good old days. But what happens to people that are consistent? They're always talking about the good old days and they're not looking at their present reality and what they can actually go forward, what they can do, what can take them forward. They're not always looking at that. They're always thinking about the good old days. So if they describe the problems of, for instance, a business or maybe a family, and they look at the problems right now, and instead of looking at the problems right now and thinking about what's the way, how do we go forward, they're always looking at the good old days. Remember the good old days today, we're looking at yesterday. So they do not like today and they're thinking about the good old days. By tomorrow, today will become yesterday. So by tomorrow, remember they've not taken the time to work on today. They're thinking about they're stuck in yesterday. Tomorrow will come. So when tomorrow comes, today becomes yesterday. So what do you think their good old days would be? Because they've not worked to prepare today, tomorrow, it means they're moving farther, they're moving, they are getting more and more stuck in the hole because the time is not waiting for them, but they are stuck in the past. I hope you understand what I'm trying to draw. So if you say yesterday is the good old days, today will soon become yesterday by tomorrow. So you have to develop a mindset that moves you forward because the danger of being obsessed with the good old days is that by tomorrow, today that you are not satisfied with will become the good old days. And so try to measure what your good old days will eventually turn to be like. Let us apply this principle to work. In the office, if you have some people that are describing the problem over and over, I'm sure you must have seen some people like that at work. They always talk about the problem over and over and over again. They never talk about the solution. And what you keep hearing in an undertone is, we'll never change. We'll never change. We've been there before. Nothing will come out of this. Oh, please, nothing will come out. No, when you have people like that, and if they have a strong voice in the company or in the organization, and they are able to influence people, then you know what's going to happen. The organization is stuck in that level of performance because these people will end up, as an organization, you will be creating the way things are now. They just drag people, and before you know it, the entire organization is stuck in, let's just don't even bother trying. And that's a dangerous place to be. You cannot afford to be there. So if you're running a business and you have people that have that mindset, you need to help them to get out of that mindset, or you need to help your organization to get out of the space of those people. Okay. Now, key number 3 is to see tomorrow today. If you look carefully, you would understand that the keys are linked together. Okay. So now let's look at see tomorrow today. When you look at high performing people, high performance individuals, they pay attention to what they say to themselves. Here's a mistake that many people think about, many people make. The mistake is that many people think that what people say about them is powerful. What people say about them either builds them or hurts them. But what they don't understand is that what they say to themselves is more powerful than what anybody would say to them. What you say to yourself is more powerful than what anybody would say to you. All right. So paying attention to your self-talk is really important. Now, if you take a look at people that are really high performing, people, A-class people, observe them. And if you follow their trajectory of personal growth and you listen to their perspective, you would understand that a particular pattern emerges, and a particular pattern emerges. And what's that pattern? These people always see the future today. They have a unique approach. They speak about it, they speak about the future in the present tense, as if it's really happening today. It has happened, it's been accomplished, done, delivered. They are so confident when they declare things like the goal is achieved, I am this and that, I've conquered this, I've conquered that, and I've secured a job. You feel like these guys are insane. No, because you've got to move yourself into that space in your mind. Everything that you see physically has been created in the mind before it manifests physically. Whatever you see physically is a manifestation of the mental blueprint. So where are you mentally is important to where you would eventually be physically. This distinction is really crucial. It goes beyond merely just maybe discussing the future or your future aspirations. It really involves discussing the future with a sense of certainty and completion. It involves you being so strong in what you're talking about. This is precisely, and it is evident in how you articulate your goals, all right, as you move ahead in becoming more effective at the very personal level. Why again this method of communication is very powerful. It's important because listen, it extends beyond just setting personal goals, right? It also serves as an effective approach to leading other people. And when you're able to embrace this perspective, it would actually guide you towards the correct path, enabling significant transformation in your life, in your goals, your future endeavors, and all of that. It is absolutely important if you take your personal effectiveness and your personal growth as a person very important. If you think it's important to you, it is vital for you to watch the way you speak about the future. You must command the future to happen as if it's happening. Now, this is not like it's one, miracle or magic wand, as it were, if you understand what I mean, to bring everything to reality. No, it is a discipline because you have to gain mastery over your mind. You're instructing your mind on how to think. You're programming your mind. People always pay attention to other people programming them. But I'm saying pay attention to how you program your mind because this will help you to tap into a powerful tool that empowers you both on the aspect of personal growth, leadership skills, and will ultimately shape the direction of your aspiration and even your accomplishment. This is key. Now, let me give you a pro tip. Be determined not to dwell in the past. All right? Be determined not to dwell in the past. Be determined not to dwell in the present. Create a frame in the future and place yourself in that. Someone told me once that you cannot feature in a future that you cannot picture. I can't remember who said that, where I first heard it, but it's not my quote. But I think, listen, you cannot, but I think it's important that you cannot feature in a future that you cannot picture. All right. So think solutions always and do not get stuck in the problem realm. Do not stay there. Think about solutions and move on. So let me share with you key number 4. It's mentoring yourself. Now, who is a mentor? A mentor is an experienced and trusted advisor who gives help and advice over an extended a period of time, especially maybe in your career. Sometimes it could be in life. I like to say that a mentor is someone who shortens the journey for you, works with you, and makes the journey shorter. Now, if you're sitting around and probably you're waiting for someone to be your accountability partner, for you to have a mentor, sometimes it's important to have someone else to mentor you, but it's not always the case. So if you find yourself in a place where you do not have someone that probably would mentor you physically, how can you start learning to hold yourself accountable? All right. Why do you want to wait for the government to get things done for you, waiting for someone else to get things done for you, and all of that? No. On this journey to becoming more effective as a person or personal growth, there are times you'll find yourself, you're just alone. You must learn to mentor yourself. You must learn to pay attention to things that happen to you along the line. All right. I'm a firm believer that wherever we find ourselves, there's a reason we're there. Life has pushed us there to learn something. But if you fail to pick that lesson, life is going to push you. Life is going to present a bigger challenge so that it squeezes you into that mold so that you get to pick that lesson that you need to learn so that you become wiser. Okay, so pay attention to when these things happen and pick the lessons. You can take the same process that a mentor ordinarily would have taken to take you through this path and make you grow and put yourself through and push yourself. So, in other words, what I'm trying to say is that there is no excuse. Don't just say, okay, I've been looking for a mentor, I've been looking for a coach. I'm saying As you read books, as you listen to videos, I mean, to maybe podcasts or maybe watch videos like this, it is important that you begin to learn the process of self-talk, learn the process of affirmation, of visualization, and apply yourself. Try to do these things. Make mistakes, learn from the mistakes, record or pay attention to when you succeed and what brought the success, and learn from that. And also try as much as possible, and if you can, teach other people, because when you teach other people, you're also teaching yourself. That way you grow. You see, here's the point. You must learn not to be dependent on another person. You must learn not to be completely dependent on other people, because they are humans. They are imperfect. They will not always, they may not always be there for you. But you must cause yourself to grow. Just like make yourself your best mentor if you can. Okay, why? Of course, you're looking for other people to help you, communities to be part of, people that are better than you to learn from. But just don't stay there. All right. You must be your teacher if you cannot find someone else. So you read book. What I'm trying to say is that you have no reason to stay stagnant. Nobody has any reason to stay stagnant. You can grow in fullness, okay? Financially, mentally, emotionally, in terms of your family, even spiritually, you can grow, become a better spouse, a better man, a better woman, a better parent, a better child, by just applying yourself to the things that you learn, while you also look for other people to help you. But you cannot just sit around and expect things to happen. All right. So that's the point. So I share with you 4 keys. I want to share with you a fifth key. And this is very important. Why? Because Robin Sharma once said that in one of his works, he said that there are 5 pillars. All right. You have the skill set, you have the mindset, you have the heart set, you have the soul set, and then you have okay, so you have a skill set, you have the health sets, so 5 of them. So, you can have issues with your mindset or any other thing, but if you have issues with your health set, then there's a significant problem. If you're not healthy, if you have issues with your health, then it can affect every other thing that you do. So when it comes to your health, how should you look at things? Did you know that your immune system is affected by what you think about, by the way you think? If you're a hopeful person, if you're a happy person, you're a joyful person, it positively affects your immune system. But if you're someone that is depressed, if you're someone that is unhappy, it actually works against you. When you find yourself in a situation where you're probably ill, experts, doctors will normally come and give you their opinions, and possibly, maybe in some cases, even give you a timeline to live. They've done the diagnosis and all of that, and they've given you. The question here is, what do you think? The next question is, what do you submit to? What are you willing to submit to? Because I think that you've got to become your own person. Yes, they've given you their expert advice, but who are you internally? Where is your strength coming from? Okay, so here are some suggestions. You must mentally hold the picture of wellness, even if you're ill. This is not easy. You must tell yourself, so number 2, you must tell yourself that you've got a real fight on your hand, because the truth is, it's war. In some cases, it could be a very life-threatening disease. It could be a very life-threatening situation. So number 3, you must set a goal to win. Now, I'm careful here. Winning could be in any form. There are times when you need to set a goal to say, I will get out of this sickness, hale and hearty, and get out of this bed. Well, there are times when you could set a goal to be, well, if it happens that I'm going to die, I want to be remembered for something. In any case, you have to define what your winning is. You want to, it could be, like I said, you want to survive the illness, you want to be remembered in a certain way. You have to discern what is meaning to you. What does it mean? Once you define what meaning is to you in that state, you stick to it. If you have to put up a sign on the door, making sure that all the people who come to visit you are positive-minded people, people who will not come and talk about things that will bring you down, that pump negative energy into the space. If that's what they want to do, you don't want to see them. You have to decide what you want to do to stay strong, whatever winning is to you, so that you can win. You must be in the best state of mind, be encouraging to yourself and to other people. Shift attention from yourself to other people. These things I'm mentioning, are they easy when you are sick and you probably the results are not good? No, it's not that easy. That's why it's a war. But you've got to decide whether it's easy or not. We've got to decide. We do not have control over what life throws at us, but we can respond. We have control over how we respond. So you've got to be hopeful, even if you are in a sick bed. You've got to see the future. Talk about your children, talk about your grandchildren, talk about your friends, talk about your next trip to somewhere great. Talk about something positive. Okay, be aglow in your spirit. Just don't talk about what you are, where you are right now. Don't dwell in that state. Don't dwell on that, the sickness and the sick bed and all the results and all of that. Surround yourself with positive people. So even when the doctors come in and they give you their results that maybe might dampen your spirit, you'll have somebody that's going to pick you up. I was listening to Les Brown one day, and he was talking about his battle with cancer and how he was afraid. So even strong people you get to a point when life stares at you in the face and you become afraid. There's nothing wrong in being afraid. There's nothing wrong in being afraid. And the difference is the response. How do you respond to fear? All right. So it's important to hold an image, a great image against all odds. But I know that it is tough. I've shared with you keys that can keep you going. All right. As you grow, as you pursue personal growth and personal effectiveness, and you'll never stop. So these are not the only keys, but I hope that these 5 keys, depending on where you find yourself, could be helpful to you. I believe that if you stay positive and strong long enough, my friend, you will triumph. If you stay strong enough, you will triumph. And so, if this video has been helpful to you, I would encourage you to share same with people, and I beg you to reach out to people. We live in a world where people need encouragement. People need to be encouraged, and people need to be motivated. And so, if this is one way that you're going to motivate them, really, I would encourage you to do so. So, and if for any reason, whatever you have heard, or you have reasons to comment, please comment and give me feedback as to what works or what stood out for you and what you would love me to talk about or what would you love me to expound on. All right. And so that we can keep spreading the message. My name is Stallone-Obaraemi, Samuel, and my sincere desire for you is that you go on succeeding by becoming a better version of yourself. Till I come your way next time, keep on succeeding. Bye for now.